So we're going to play the report from Kerry and Megan in Australia, but Kerry in USA, and then we'll come to the end.
Hello, everyone. Over the weekend, WDI USA hosted a panel discussion on women's sex-based rights at the Seattle Public Library, and as described by post-millennials Katie Daviscourt, who provided on-the-ground reporting, despite the ruckus caused by over 100 armed and aggressive Trantifa militants intent on disruption, the event itself ran smoothly, thanks to the combined efforts of library security and the Seattle Police Department. Not only did the black-clad militants attempt to harass and intimidate women as they entered the library, but once the panel discussion commenced, they began scaling the library building, banging on the windows, and attempting to breach the doors, prompting the on-scene arrival of the SPD, who ordered the demonstrators to leave or risk arrest. After a brief standoff, the militants relocated their protest to the back entrance, only to return to the front as the event came to a close. But police and library security were able to safely usher participants out via another exit. As for the event itself, attendees told the Post-Millennial that the panelists' stories inspired them to take up the battle to protect women's spaces. Some reported they were moved to tears. I'm told that one of the more impactful presentations was provided by detransitioner Elle Palmer, who was speaking publicly about her experience for the first time. Anti-woman activists also attempted to disrupt the press briefing at the courthouse the next day, following oral arguments in the Olympus Spa case. Next, I'd like to share the latest developments in the ongoing Mountain West Conference women's volleyball boycott. Both Boise State and the University of Wyoming have now forfeited their second scheduled match against SJSU, the team that includes male player Blair Fleming, since I last reported on the issue. Additionally, Outkick recently reported that they could find no evidence that San Jose State is investigating the most serious allegation in the Title IX complaint filed by San Jose State Associate Head Volleyball Coach Melissa Beatty-Smoos, namely that Blair Fleming conspired with the Colorado State player to throw the match between the two teams, as well as to injure his teammate Brooke Slusser. But perhaps the most critical development is that last week, a dozen women filed suit against the Mountain West Conference and its commissioner, along with officials at San Jose State University, alleging violations of Title IX and of their First Amendment rights, all stemming from the presence of male player Blair Fleming on the San Jose State roster. The plaintiffs, which include San Jose State co-captain Brooke Slusser and two former Spartans, as well as athletes from 4 other Mountain West schools, alleged the conference adopted a new transgender participation policy in an attempt to chill and suppress the free speech rights of women athletes. The suit seeks emergency injunctive relief ahead of the Mountain West Conference volleyball tournament set to begin in Las Vegas on November 27th. The suit is being funded and backed by the Independent Council on Women's Sports, ICONS. Another sports-related development that doesn't seem to be getting the attention it deserves is a recent federal court decision in Sewell versus Connecticut Association of Schools to allow the case of 4 female athletes who are challenging a state athletic association policy that allows males to compete in women's high school sports to proceed, rejecting the request of state officials to dismiss the case. A statement attributed to ADF legal counsel states that Selena, Chelsea, Alana, and Ashley, like all female athletes, deserve access to fair competition. The Connecticut Interscholastic Athletic Conference's policy degraded each of their accomplishments and scarred their athletic records, irreparably harming each female athlete's interests in accurate recognition of her athletic achievements. Following the Second Circuit's decision to allow these brave women to make their case under Title IX and set the record straight, The district court has rightly rejected the state's request to dismiss the case and instead recognized that the girls' schools are potentially liable for subjecting the plaintiffs to discrimination under their athletic programs in violation of Title IX. And that's all I have today. Thank you.
Greetings from Australia. The Federal Misinformation and Disinformation Bill has passed the lower house of Parliament and was introduced into the Senate just on the 18th of November. Notable issues with the bill include the inclusion of opinion in the definition of misinformation, so it's not just fact. Per the explanatory memoranda, the reference to information in the bill is intended to include opinions, claims, and commentary. The bill also includes vilification in the meaning of serious harm, which is the test for the disallowed information. And it includes grounds such as gender identity in that category. So commentary or opinion that vilifies on the basis of gender identity would be classed as misinformation under the bill. It also includes things like harm to public confidence in the banking system or financial markets. Currently, 39 senators have announced that they intend to vote no, which would cause the bill to fail in a Senate of 76 members. The vote is scheduled for next week. So, sisters, please contact your senators and urge, if you are in Australia, them, particularly all non-Labor senators, to attend on the day and oppose the bill. On a state level, Victoria's anti-vilification bill is likely to be introduced in a week or so to be confirmed. Since 2019, plans have been to expand the state's existing hate speech protections. Currently, only race and religion are protected. The idea was to add a number of new protected groups and to make prosecution easier. There was a bill proposed in 2019 that lapsed late in 2022. It did make it to a parliamentary committee, but the committee recommended the legislation go ahead. So that's basically the bill that is being put to the Parliament now, as far as we can tell. An overview of the proposed law was released, with public consultation closing in October this year. Analysis of the consultation has not actually finished. It was scheduled to finish in December, but the bill has apparently already been drafted and is set to be introduced into state parliament in the next fortnight. It seeks to abolish the Racial and Religious Tolerance Act, establish civil offences within the Equal Opportunity Act for vilification on the grounds of race and religion, but also disability, gender identity, sex and sex characteristics, sexual orientation specifically, and personal association. And it seeks to insert offences for these into the Crimes Act. The proposed changes would also lower the bar for civil and criminal vilification offences and increase the maximum penalty. Groups such as LGB Alliance and the Feminist Legal Clinic, among numerous others, have made submissions and have published concerns over the silencing of feminist and gay advocacy voices. So we'll see how that goes. Moira Deeming, Victorian MP, put a question on 30-day notice to the Victorian Government regarding the Royal Children's Hospital Gender Clinic Trans 20 study. The clinic finished observing its cohort in 2020, but the clinic has refused to release any results or publish reports on it since. And so there are, of course, questions why these results have not been released, and are they being hidden because the results are not favourable. And finally, a report on the ABC on the 18th of November announced that a number of regional queer events, including Mardi Gras parades, face possible closure after major sponsors, including Coles supermarkets, have pulled their funding or refused to renew their funding for another year. Organisers said that it wasn't just about losing an event for the weekend, it was about saving lives. President of Dragged Out, Andrew Madden, said the queer community was at risk of losing visibility because the festival celebrated a different part of humanity we apparently don't often see. I believe that this week is Trans Awareness Week, or is that next week? I think it's next week as well. and the month after. So that's all from Australia. Thank you very much.